स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. Pre-Janmashtami Katha. So we'll have a short Katha for about 45 minutes, 1 hour based on the 10th canto. So I'll just share a verse and then we will start talking based on that. Okay, so we are currently looking at 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10. Chapter 85, text number 47 actually. So I'll just give a background to this chapter and then we will go into this verse. So this chapter is being spoken by the Supreme Lord Krishna to Bali Maharaj. So what happens is Krishna obtains the son of Sandipani Muni as Guru Dakshina. We know that story, right? And then after that, when Sandipani Muni, when Devaki comes to know that Krishna obtained the dead son of Sandipani Muni from Varuna Dev and gave back to Sandipani Muni, she also got a desire that I want to have my 6 sons whom I lost. Right. So going back in the story, we all know that before Krishna and Balram are born, there are 6 children born to Devaki and Vasudeva, 6 sons. And all these sons are killed by Kamsa. So as a mother, Devaki had it in her mind that she wishes to cajole them, shower her love on them, breastfeed them, etc. And when she knew that Krishna is capable of doing such things like getting dead children back, so she asked Krishna to do that. So then Krishna, being all-knowing, knew that these 6 sons are with Bali Maharaj in Sutalaloka. So he goes there and he's asking Bali Maharaj to give those 6 sons. Right? And that time, Krishna is narrating briefly the story of the 6 sons of Devaki who were born before Krishna to Devaki and Vasudeva. Right? So we will just look at that story briefly and then we will see 3 lessons from that particular story. So these 6 sons, so I'm just first completing the story and then going into the details. So these 6 sons, they were in the custody of Bali, whom Krishna obtains, and Krishna comes and gives these 6 sons back to Devaki. And then the story is that Devaki, basically, she breastfeeds them. And because the breast milk of Srimati Devaki is no Mahaprasad, considering that Krishna had drunk from the same place before, these 6 children are getting liberated. So what was their offense? Why did they land in such a situation? That story Krishna is telling to Devaki. So we'll just see that. So look at this, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:85-47. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asan Mariche Satputra Urnayam Pratamendara Devakham Jahasurviksha Sutam Yabitu Mudyatam. Translation: the Supreme Lord said, during the age of the first Manu, the sage Marichi had 6 sons by his wife Urna. They were all exalted demigods, but once they laughed at Lord Brahma when they saw him preparing to have sex with his own daughter. Okay, so this is the story that these six children were actually the children of Marichi. Marichi is son of Brahmaji, so which means that these six ones were related as grandchildren of Brahmaji. But then they saw our they saw at some point of time Brahmaji got attracted to his own daughter, and they started laughing. Okay, so we have to also understand that the devatas have subtle bodies only. So Brahmaji is so he has only a body made of subtle elements, which means we can understand that when he gets the desire itself to have it, then because all these people devatas are all having subtle bodies, they are able to have that kind of an adhikar where they understand what's happening, right? So so it was a momentary lapse on the part of Brahmaji, but the sons of Marichi had no right to laugh at him. Okay, so they did their mistake. So we will elaborate this point. So they started laughing, and because they started laughing, Krishna goes on to say they immediately entered a demonic form of life and they took birth as the sons of Hiranyakashipu. The goddess Yogamaya took them away from Hiranyakashipu and they were born again from Devaki's womb. After this, O King Kamsa murdered them. Devaki still laments for them, thinking of them as her sons. These same sons of Marichi are now living here with you. Okay, so though the translation mentions that they were born as the sons of Hiranyakashipu from the purport as well as from other places in Harivamsha. Okay, so now I'm just stopping sharing the screen. We will just go back to our discussion. Yeah. So the story is that these six, and so the story is in a treatise called Harivamsha, where these six children of Marichi are condemned to be born as the sons of Kalanemi. Okay, Kalanemi is called as the son of Hiranyakashipu. So they were sons of Kalanemi, and as sons of Kalanemi, they were doing some tapasya for Brahma. Now, when Hiranyakashipu came to know that these people are doing tapasya for Brahma, he did not approve. He said that you cannot do tapasya without taking my permission. Okay, that was Hiranyakashipu's rule. So he basically cursed them that in your next birth, you will be killed by your father for this. Okay, so then what happens in the next life? All these six sons were originally the sons of Marichi, later born in Hiranyakashipu's family. Later, they were now born in the family of, they were born as the children of Devaki and Vasudeva. And Kalanemi comes as Kamsa, and Kamsa kills all these six children, right? And then these children go to Patala Loka. Krishna gets them back. Devaki feeds them her milk, and then they are all liberated and they go back to their original position. So this is how that story concludes. So what we will be doing today is we'll be seeing three lessons from the story. The first lesson, you can call it an Adidevika lesson. The lesson is that one cannot deride a great personality even if it appears that they have done a mistake. So great people, we have no adhikar to laugh or deride or make fun of a very great person, even if they do a mistake. Because in the material world, everybody does mistakes. So in this particular story, we see Brahmaji has, done a mistake of whatever. He got momentarily attracted by his daughter, but then these fellows had no right to laugh against it. So that Maryada is important to maintain, and because they laughed, they ended up, criticizing Brahmaji, which is why they landed in this position. So in fact, this story is also told by Lord Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. The story comes in the Antya Kanda, where Mahaprabhu is narrating this entire story to convey the same point that this is a Vaishnava Parad and you cannot laugh at great people. Right. So that is one lesson. So the second lesson here in this particular story is that these five sons of Marichi who are there, these six sons of Devaki, they basically, this is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that they basically represent six desires of material enjoyment, which comes from five knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, the nose, the tongue, the taste, touch, and the thought process of the mind. Okay, so there are six types of desires to enjoy the world that we all have, and Kamsa represents fear of material existence. So unless one's desires or one is kind of fearful of material existence, these desires are not destroyed. So in other words, the fear of material existence, prolonged existence in this world, it basically kills these six types of desires. And only when they are killed, Balaramji and Krishna will take birth in the heart of the devotee. Right. So we all know that from the Bhagavatam, and even when we are celebrating Janmashtami, the mood is that we wish to have Krishna appear in our heart. But in order for Krishna to appear in our heart, this becomes a prerequisite. So this is the second lesson which we can get from the story. However, we will focus our talk on the third lesson. Okay, so the third lesson is, I'm not necessarily saying that this lesson is the most important lesson. It says that there are three lessons, but we are focusing on this lesson because in some way, this is connected with what we have been studying from the Bhagavad Gita. Right. So the lesson here is that please try to understand this lesson. This is more from a social perspective, you can say Adibhuta, that first thing is whenever the Lord comes to this world in a in any Leela, the devotees who come along with him, they have to also, they cannot simply be spectators. So just like if you go back to the Ramayana also, when all the devatas, when they beseech Lord Vishnu to come in the world to kill Ravana, Lord Ramachandra says that even you all will have to participate. You all will have to take birth as the monkeys and the bears, and you will have to help me. Right? Similarly, in Krishna Lila also, okay, all the great devatas, etc., they have to come and take birth here. They have to assist the Lord. So what we understand is the Lord is not going to give anything on a platter so easily to his devotees. In this case, the devatas. Right? The devatas are basically praying to the Lord, requesting him to come to this world. But the Lord is not going to say that, okay, I will do everything. You people can simply sit and watch the show. You can have Rabdi or Somras or whatever you want. And you can keep watching the fun, how I am setting all the problems right. No, the Lord doesn't do that. He wants everybody to actively participate. Okay, so this is the first thing I wish to mention here, that the nature of the Lord is He wants devotees to actively participate in whatever He's doing, rather than make it very simple for them that they will, without doing anything, only Lord will solve the problem. He doesn't do that. That's the first point here. Another thing which we see very carefully here is that the script is not known in advance to the great devotees. Now, please try to understand this point. Now, all of us, we know the story from the Bhagavatam. We know Harivamsha. We have commentary of Acharya. So we know that the six children which are going to be born to Devaki, first they were Marichi's children. They offended Brahmaji. Hence, they were born in Hiranyakashipu's family. Later, they were now born in Devaki's family. So all this we know, correct? But when the Lord's devotees are taking part in the pastime of the Lord, they are not given any advanced script like this. No, they don't know anything. They don't know that this is what has happened. Are you understanding? So in some way, the Lord's Leela is unlike a movie also. Like sometimes even in a movie, if you see there is some story being shown, in the movie, the whatever movie is being shown, at least the script is known to everybody, correct? Even if there is going to be a tragic ending or a happy ending or whatever, the story is told in advance to all the actors. So in some way, they are actually acting, because in their heart, at least they know that okay, all these problems are going to be solved. In the end, this is a happy ending movie. But the Lord's pastimes are not like that. When all these devatas come to this world, they don't have any script with them. So, which basically means what happens is, so now this is not only in this case. I mean, I can give so many other examples for this also. We'll just take one more example and come back to this. So, just like if you see in the Mahabharata, Abhimanyu, the son of Arjuna, he was actually the son of Somadev. And if you know the story, Somadev sends his son in the Mahabharata with the condition that I want him quickly back to my abode because I don't want him too far away from me. I want my son quickly come back to me. Right. So that is the condition that is a condition which was put by Somadeva. So that is why Abhimanyu in 16 years, at the age of 16 itself, his role ends in the Mahabharata. But again, the Pandavas don't know this. We know this, but in the story, the Pandavas don't know this. Right? The Pandavas don't know. It's not a scripted movie where They know exactly that this is what is going to happen. Abhimanyu is going to be there only for 16 years and he's going to go back. No, it's not known. That's why we see that when Abhimanyu is killed by all these Kauravas, so at that point of time, Arjuna, he actually gets so overwhelmed by that particular situation. He in fact shouts at all the Pandavas also. He shouts at, he scolds his elder brothers, younger brothers, everyone, saying that what you people couldn't protect my son, right? He was being brutally killed by these Kauravas, and all of you were just watching over there. So he actually cries piteously over there, right? And so why I'm making this point is then only the Leela becomes very intense. So one point that you see is in the Lord's Leela, when all these devatas come to participate, life is very uncertain. So this is the theme that I want to focus on as a lesson from this particular story, that life is always about uncertainty. We really don't know what is going to happen, right? Even Devaki and Vasudeva, please try to understand, right? Each son was being born. They were first of all imprisoned by Kamsa. Each son was being born, and Kamsa was being reported that a child is born, and Kamsa comes and takes the child and bangs it with a stone and kills the child. Right? Very brutally, he kills the child in this particular fashion. Now, when this is happening at that point of time, Devaki and Vasudev, say, as I told you earlier, 2 points. First is that they don't know that these people are cursed as sons of Marichi and they are born in my house. So it is all the pastimes of the Lord only. It is okay. Are you understanding? They don't know all this. So for them, first of all, it is giving them intense pain to see each of their son being killed. Right. Now, second thing is, despite seeing each of their son being killed, they don't stop having children. Okay, so that's another very interesting thing we can see in the story of Devaki and Vasudeva. Right? I mean, they are literally following Krishna's Nishkama Karma Yoga principle of Gita, where Krishna has said that even if there is suffering or whatever, you have to do what you are supposed to do. Correct? For a normal husband and wife, if they would see one, two, three, four being killed like this, where is the impetus to go ahead? Right? Where is the impetus to go ahead and have another child, bear the child in the womb for 9 months, and the child is going to be born, and there is absolutely no question that Kamsa is going to come and bang the child against a rock and kill the child, right? So despite knowing the inevitability of the death of all these children that will be born, Devaki and Vasudeva continue to have children. They continue to do their duty. Right? So this is something that again you see in the Lord's story in the past times, that all these characters who come, they keep doing, they actually act as per Bhagavad Gita. Right? You actually see Gita in their life. Now see why I'm making this point is, for all of us, when we hear philosophy from Gita, etc., then we may not be so much connected to the stories of the Bhagavad. And when we see these stories or hear these stories, most of the time, it may happen that we hear these stories or see these stories or see dramas presented based on these stories, again like a movie show kind of, where we are not involved, we are external to it. So we may sometimes miss out these important points also. But actually these personalities in the Leela of the Lord, they are all actually working very hard, and they are actually doing Nishkama Karma Yoga in that particular situation. We may miss that. Okay, anyway, coming back to my original theme, life is about uncertainty, right? Life is about uncertainty. No one knows what's going to happen next. In a way, that is how it should be, because if certainty is there in life, then in some way the charm also goes away. There is no fun actually, right? The real rasa in life is because of the uncertainty. You don't know what will happen. So, you keep trying out different things. So it is uncertainty. But there is another thing in life which is called as hope. Please try to understand this point. So this is the lesson I want to talk of from this particular story of the Bhagavatam. That life is, a fight or a existence or a struggle. Life is actually a struggle between uncertainty and hope. Okay, now if you consider Devaki and Vasudev, they had a hope. The hope was based on what the Akashvani was there, right? There was an Akashvani at the time of their marriage, that Ashtamo Garbho, the eighth child born to this Devaki, will kill Kamsa. So now again, please try to understand, though that Akashvani was there and everybody heard it, including Devaki and Vasudev, that was just a hope. It was again, it is not that that was reiterated again and again. Again and again, the Lord came in the mind of Vasudev telling that, don't worry, even the second child is dying now, but I will come as the eighth son. No, nothing like that. Only once that hope was given. Okay, there was a small indication given in the form of the Akashvani, but after that, life continued as normal only. And if you see from Devaki Vasudev's perspective, it's very difficult to, it is just a hope actually. It's all looking uncertain and dark. It looks bleak, as they say, right? Because they were imprisoned and Kamsa was so powerful. And each child was born and immediately Kamsa was killing. In fact, only the Namakaran was being done because Vasudev, he was doing the Namakaran of each of these children. He was doing the Namakaran, but then, that's all. That's all he could do. Literally, on the day of birth only, the child was brutally being killed by Kamsa. So my point is, there is so much uncertainty. Okay, there is a small hope that something nice will come, right? Something good will happen, something auspicious will happen. But that's a very small hope. Okay, but they continue to struggle in life through all these uncertainties. And this is a very important lesson for all of us because our lives are also like this only. Okay, so my point is, each of our lives are also nothing but a struggle between uncertainty and hope. Okay, now please try to understand both these things are important. Hope is also very important in life. If somebody becomes completely hopeless that nothing good can happen in my life, then literally that person has to die. Okay, so if you see people who commit suicide or end their life, it is in some way because they feel that nothing good is going to happen. When life becomes completely hopeless, hopelessness is also sometimes called as a sign of atheism. So when life, there is no hope only in life, then person cannot exist. You cannot function. You need some hope. Okay, so just like to give an example, we see Sita Devi right in the Ramayana. Sita Devi, at one point, she had no hope of being with Lord Ram. She understood that no matter what I do, these people of Ayodhya will never accept me. And that is why Sita Devi, what she says, she tells Bhumi Devi, if I am pure, please take me within you. Because she understood that people are going to create. She didn't see a hope, basically. She didn't see a hope of her being united with Lord Ram, which was her cherished moment, or which is what she was looking for. So she had to basically end her life. You see Sati also in the Bhagavatam. She felt at that point of time a very hopeless situation. She thought that, my father-in-law will never accept my father will never accept my husband, and this is something very painful for me. I don't see any hope anymore. So when you become completely hopeless, in a way, uh, material existence ends. Material existence ends, I mean your life has to end. You're forced to die basically. Right? We are all continuing in this world because of a hope. Okay. So for Vasudeva and Devaki, it was their Akashvani. For each of us, maybe there is no such Akashvani, maybe there is some astrology, maybe there is some generic hope. There is a generic hope that, okay, no problem. Even if there is some difficulty, I will find some way out. I will try to do something in life. Correct. So as long as such hope exists, one can go ahead. Otherwise, one cannot. Okay. So there is an importance of hope. But it is also a fact that life is very, very uncertain. Life is very, very uncertain, and Prakriti itself is uncertain. So please try to understand. Prakriti is very uncertain, and in the Lord's Leela, there is even more uncertainty. Okay, so Prakriti is already uncertain, but Lord adds more uncertainty in the pastimes, and thus it becomes thrilling, right? It becomes really very thrilling if you see the way it is. Now, why this is important to understand also is that many times when we hear the Lord's pastimes, we may think that it will be so good if we could also be part of the Lord's pastimes, etc. But let us think very carefully. If you see all these characters in the Bhagavatam, it is actually very difficult to play such roles because if you see carefully, if anybody were to take roles like these, oh my God, it is so challenging. You have so much of uncertainty, and in that you're supposed to keep doing what you're supposed to do, right? You're not supposed to lose hope or think that, oh no, I can't do anything now. No, you're supposed to continue working. Okay, and this is not at all easy. So I would say that a qualification to enter the Lord's Leela is a very high bar actually. One has to really have all the principles of Gita in his life where Sukha Dukkha Samay Krito, whatever happens, I will keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And as I said earlier, script is also not known to you when you're in the Lord's pastime. Okay, when all the pastimes are over and Vyasadeva has recorded it in the scriptures, then we understand the script. But to those people who are in that Leela, they don't know the script. Okay, can you imagine how intense it is going to be? And that is why Devaki, it's very normal of a woman like Devaki who is asking Krishna that I want to see my 6 children. She even at that point of time doesn't know that these are 6 sons of Marichi and they were born in my family and all that, right? They just don't know anything like that. Okay, so this is how we if we look at the pastimes in this particular fashion, then we will be able to learn some good lessons out of it. So, okay, I'll just summarize. We have a very short time only today. Short class. So I took this pastime from the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto of the 6 sons of Devaki being killed by Kamsa. All right. So I said that these 6 sons were actually the sons of Marichi who laughed at Brahmaji when Brahmaji was attracted to his daughter. As a result of that, they were born as sons of Kalanemi, and later they were born as the sons of Devaki, and they had to be killed by Kamsa, who was Kalanemi in the past life. And later Krishna got all of them from Bali. They had the breast milk of Devaki, and then they were liberated and they went back to their abodes. So this is the story in the Bhagavatam. We spoke of 3 lessons from it. Lesson number 1, which is like an Adi Devik lesson, is that you cannot laugh at a great personality, even if they commit a mistake. Okay, so there's an etiquette we all know, even in our homes, if our parents or some elderly people are there, even if they commit a mistake, the general etiquette in our civilized society is that one doesn't correct superiors, right? One may just tolerate it, one doesn't, unless it goes beyond some level or something. And generally, one is, and certainly one cannot laugh at it, no matter what. But Marichi's sons, they laugh at Brahmaji. So that is the first thing. So it is an offense to laugh at a great personality, a great Vaishnava, a great devotee. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson we said is that the 6 sons of Devaki represent the 6 sense objects through the 5 senses and the mind. And Kamsa represents fear of material existence. So unless our desires to enjoy this world have fear of Kamsa and they're killed because of that, one doesn't get Krishna in his life. So that's the second lesson. The third lesson, which we elaborated for a longer time, was that life is a struggle between uncertainty and hope. I said that life is uncertain. No one knows what's going to happen next. Devaki Vasudev had no clue what's going to happen. They were not given any script that this is how the Lord's pastimes are going to play out. The Lord just sends them into the world and bang, that's it. They have to struggle over there. They have to perform. They have to keep implementing Bhagavad Gita. They have to keep doing Nishkama Karma Yoga. There may be only dukkha for a very long time. Look at the Pandavas also. 90 years they struggled before they got the kingdom. Correct? I mean, most ordinary people would have given up. 90 years, who will struggle to get the kingdom? No, but they kept doing the right thing. Finally, they got it. Okay, so the Lord really puts even more uncertainty in the life of the devotees. So we saw how Vasudeva and Devaki, it was totally uncertain future. But in that uncertainty, there was some hope. Like the Pandavas also had some hope. Devaki Vasudeva had some hope based on their Akashvani. That yes, something good will happen. Something good will happen. Let's keep doing. Something good will happen. Let's stick to dharma. Something nice will happen in our life. So this was the mood which they continued, and then they were blessed. Right? Balaramji appeared, and then the Supreme Lord Krishna appeared as their child, which was the greatest fortune they could ever imagine. So I was saying that life is the struggle between uncertainty and hope. We need some hope in life also. Without hope, life actually ends, right? Like whether it is Sita Devi or anybody else whose life ends abruptly, if you see carefully, it is because they landed in a situation where they saw no hope only for them in this world. Okay, but as long as there is some hope, you will continue to struggle. Okay, but even if there is that little hope, little opportunity for contribution, life will still be uncertain only, and one will have to navigate through that, keep doing whatever is the right thing to do. And you see, imagine that Vasudev did all the samskaras for all his children. It is said that when the child was born, he did Namakaran. Can you imagine doing Namakaran for a child when you know that in the next few hours your brother-in-law is going to come and kill them, right? I mean, anybody would do that. People would think, why give a name? 2 घंटे में बच्चा मरने ही वाला है अभी. Why give a name? No, he did the samskaras. Because he thought that no, it is my duty. So this is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Sukha Dukha Sami, whatever it is, I have to do what I am supposed to do. Child may die in a couple of hours, but Namakarana will have to be done. So he does the Namakarana and other samskara. You see that in the Bhagavatam when you read the story. Right? So in that uncertainty, Vasudeva and Devaki kept doing what they were supposed to do. And because they persevered so much and they continued with that hope manifested into and finally we all know that he was Krishna and Balaramji was born and they were very much blessed. Yeah, so that's all for today. It's a short class as I had mentioned. Anybody has any questions, please raise your hand. Thank you. Haribol, Shamlila Prabhu, yes, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, actually, I did not attend the full class, so I actually missed this one that the 6 sons are the 6 senses and the Kamsa is the fear. Could you just mention that again, the summary point you were telling?
Okay, I'll elaborate a little bit. So this is from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, basically, I'm just reading from that. 1 second. Yeah, so he says that Vishwanath Thakur says that the 6 desires of material enjoyment, 6 desires of material enjoyment means the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and the mental faculty of thought. These are going to drag me into the dark well of material existence. When such fear arises in the heart of a devotee, okay, so that this fear, the fear that these 6 desires will drag me to hell, when that fear arises, that fear is personified by Kamsa, when that arises, then these 6 will be destroyed. And when these 6 are destroyed, the glories of Lord, I'm just reading directly from his commentary. So Vishwanath Thakur says the glories of the Lord, namely the devotional cultivation of hearing and chanting, that starts to mature. Only at that stage of mature devotion will Bhagavan, with his form, qualities, and pastimes appear. Bhakti is the personification of pure goodness and reveals the Supreme Lord. Okay, so the Shruti states this, that Marichi manifests from the mind. So please try to understand this. Marichi is representing the mind. Thus we can understand that Marichi is an incarnation of the mind. Marichi has 6 sons. And these 6 sons are the 6 objects of material enjoyment: sound, touch, form, taste, smell, and thought. Since Sri Bhagavan appears from Devaki, she is considered the avatara of bhakti. Okay, and because the Shruti says Bayat Kamsaha, the fear within Kamsa, Kamsa is personification of fearfulness. Hence, Kamsa is the avatar of fear. Therefore, just as fear of material world destroys the 6 material sense objects from the womb of bhakti, similarly, Kamsa kills the 6 children of Devaki. Only then the mother of Prema Bhakti arises along with the glories of Supreme Lord within the womb of devotion when these 6 are extinguished. Thus, when the 6 sons of Devaki are eliminated, the 7th comes as Anantadev, followed by Sri Krishna. Okay, so Srinvatam, then so this is from Chakravarti Pad's.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hariba. Any other question or comment on what we just spoke?
Hare Krishna, bro.
Yeah, Tribhuman, bro, please.
Prabhu, the video which was posted about this Prabhupada Vani, somebody, you saw that video, no?
Yeah,
last time. So actually, our ISKCON Shastri committee or someone, they should stop this kind of things, because that will create a lot of bad image of Prabhupada as well as the ISKCON, and that is not required.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on that. Is Smitanimay Prabhu there? He was the person who had posted it. Is he here? I can see Mataji here. I don't know whether he's here.
Yes, Prabhuji, I am also hearing.
Yeah, okay. So good.
So I have shared it because this came like as a forward
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's on the internet. So that's where I wanted comments from everyone. Not that I have any opinion about this, but
I have a lot
as
of
Prabhuji said, right?
I have a lot of opinion about it. I want to say. So anyway, since Sivangan asked, I'll just take the opportunity to say something about it. I honestly feel that whoever posts such videos, where Prabhupada is saying that. So what they have done, they have taken some statements of Prabhupada, right, where he says that all this going to moon is a waste of time and so on and so forth. Scientists are rascals and all. And they have superimposed the image of ISRO sending all these Chandrayaan 2, 3, if you carefully see. The video, the image that is shown and the text and the audio, they're two different things, right? So Prabhupada spoke about the moon landing in America. Now, what these people have done is they have taken, the ISRO. In fact, the initial part of the video is what is about today's Aditya launch. Today, the launch of Aditya was there, right? It is actually that video they have taken, and they have put Prabhupada's comment that all this is a waste of time. Just stand Hare Krishna and all that. I sincerely feel that whoever is posting such videos is actually doing a great disservice to Prabhupada. I'll just say why. Because please try to understand, these statements were made in a particular context. Okay, the context was that Prabhupada wanted to ensure that his disciples have more faith in the spiritual path and not so much in the path of material enjoyment, which basically comes from modern science, etc. And hence he spoke like that. If you don't understand the context, then you miss the whole thing. Okay, now and these were private talks. When you take that and put it like this, now किसी कोई है क्या भक्त जो ये वीडियो को अपना ऑफिस के व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में डाल सकता है, बोल सकता है कि दिस इज अवर ISKCON founder Acharya's opinion on this issue. If somebody would do that, let me assure you that you will bring only hatred for our acharyas and our movement from common people, because common person will think ये पागल हो गए क्या, what are they trying to say? Are you saying that scientific advancement has no purpose? Are whole internet technology is based on satellite communication only, correct? If satellite communication in general, the satellites and all that, if they wouldn't have, reached whatever they are today, we wouldn't have had all this technology with us, right? And we are sitting on technology, we are sitting on an iPhone, Mac Air, we are using all technology for everything. And if you say everything is useless in general, very dismissive way, so if you remember, I spoke this point also when I earlier explained about this Vivekananda controversy also. You cannot take your guru's statements, which may have been made in a very private circle, to the external world, saying that this is our opinion on all issues. You just bring terrible name to your guru. It's very unfortunate that maturity doesn't exist in people, due to which whoever made that video, I mean, he's actually, he or she, whoever that is, there is no need to do it, because when you do such things, you're bringing terrible name to your guru. Because Prabhupada himself, if you carefully see, he was not always anti-science. Please try to understand that. I mean, in Vrindavan in 1977, he told Sarup Damodar to bring all the scientists, and they were having conferences. And many devotees at that time, who saw only black and white, who had seen earlier Prabhupada criticizing scientists, they would say that, "Arey, why have we got all these scientist people here, and we are talking all this stuff?" Because it didn't seem like anything spiritual discussion. They were just talking chemistry and all those stuff. But Prabhupada said that is kirtana, So so please try to understand, there were multiple opinions Prabhupada also expressed on this topic in different circles. So without having a holistic idea about what Prabhupada really represented, taking a statement, taking ISRO video, putting it together and sending it out, I think it is a terrible thing to do. It just shows the sheer, unfortunately, I'm sorry to use the word, immaturity on the part of whoever does that, because they have really not understood the perspective of time, place, circumstance, what actually brings good name to your acharya, and what damages it, and why you do what you do. And I really feel sorry for whoever did that. Trimangan Prabhu, does that make sense what I'm saying? Or
Yes, bro. Like on that day you made it very clear, but the point is, like, although it's very difficult to control, like anybody can put any video anywhere and then people can't see that.
yeah,
But then, I don't know, we can maybe like have something which will educate kind of devotees what to share and what not to share. That guidelines can be given. Rest all, like, people want to follow, they will
I
follow.
know that it's very difficult in a large movement.
Yeah, that's right.
At least an education also should be there. Such topics should be
Yeah,
spoken.
so we can do the education part just to protect Prabhupada's image.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Prabhuji,
what.
actually, there are three things which come out of this, right? And I actually wanted to discuss it, but then I thought people will and devotees will put their comments. So one is the external part, which you just addressed, right? Because anyway, we don't face people who want to criticize. This will become another big weapon for them to criticize. So as you both are saying, I fully agree with you. The second part is that uh, on the level of self, right, we definitely understand that goal of life is not just setting up home stations or earth stations on other planets. So definitely, this is going to help us in the journey of life. And the focus is on the constitutional position to reinstate ourselves. So that point is well taken on that. But then, this all debates like this actually happen in the devotee communities. And if I go and say that by saying like this, you are doing a disservice to Prabhupada, right? So I see that many people have taken position. Even me and my wife, we have taken vaccine and we have been pulled and grilled accordingly that this is not the right thing to do, right? So internally also, how we need to assimilate this, it's just not about external, right? How we handle this, it is also about how we assimilate this internally in our movement is a very big question, right?
Yeah.
And you have been guiding everybody, but then as you were saying, it is very difficult across the moment. So somewhere we need to we can't just keep all these skeletons buried, right? That somebody will come and say that, hey, you are not you are thinking the way you are thinking, it is all maya and this and that. So we just want to address it straight away, so that at least we get the direction from you and a very clear thought process that how we deal with it internal.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, because see, the whole problem is internally also. This is not discussed so much in our movement. These kind of things, because people think that how can you even question? How can you even say that something
Yeah.
said is in a time, place, circumstance, in a context? People tend to take it in a very absolute fashion. This is very, very dangerous, and
Yeah.
you can't do that. You can't take proper statements like that, very absolute, saying that this is only how it is and no other way it can be understood. No, that's not how you can interpret these statements. So I
Yes.
think that unfortunately as a movement there should be much more discussion on these. There should be more internal maturity among the members of our movement. Only then such things will stop, perhaps. Otherwise people will keep doing it, and then we should not be surprised why people are criticizing our movement. Because imagine if
Yeah. And
video, and
yeah.
that's what I'm saying, if we forward this video on all our office WhatsApp groups, what are people going to say? Are people going to appreciate our movement, saying that, "Arey, you all are very smart people," or are they going to criticize? So we have to understand the repercussions, right, of something. So you have to be sensitive to the society, right? And it just doesn't make any sense in that sense. See, these were very private conversations which had a purpose at that time in 1969, 1970. Now you're bringing it in 2023 with some other image, and you're just superimposing the
Yeah.
Prabhupada with ISRO's work, and then you're just forwarding. I don't know. I mean, so okay.
So yeah, some people like us, we have seen Chandrayaan and we showed it to our children also, right? That this is what it is, and they have some aspiration, and the only intention was they get interested into, in some higher purpose. Because outside, the children are aspiring for things which we don't want our children to go to, whether it is video games or whether it is Bollywood or things like that. So we have to give some dimensional exposure to the children.
Yes.
So but then they also get to hear it in the internal communities itself, and that's where they feel very confused.
Yes, so
Right.
that's why we have to tell even your children this perspective. I had my son was there today in Sri Harikota, where in that launch of Aditya, because his whole college, many students went, so they were there. So we have to discuss this with your children also. Why Prabhupada said that, and you have to have a holistic idea of what. Then only you will have simultaneously respect for your acharyas, and at the same time understand time, place, circumstance. You have to understand why some things are said at a particular place, and don't make anything so absolute like that. I mean, this is very, very dangerous. It's as in
And
it's disservice.
yes, and yeah, and regarding this video, Prabhuji, I just want to share that it's not only now internal devotees of ISKCON, at least the such a bigger agenda. I'm not sure if somebody is doing it, and as you said, then it is really dangerous. But I feel that now ISKCON is anyway in the mainstream uh, of YouTube or social media. So I'll not be surprised if this is something which is made up agenda from the outside forces rather than inside forces,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
and it can go, the
Whoever
roots
has
can
done
go to
this
any extent.
consciously or
Yeah,
unconsciously is our enemy. Either he's
yeah,
consciously
yes,
our enemy or
yeah,
unconsciously is our enemy. That's it. Period.
ye-
Prabhuji, I
yeah.
checked it. It's
Thank you.
actually from.
Yeah.
It's made by Ritrix. I just checked it.
Yeah.
It's actually made by
Ritvik.
the group.
Oh, understood. Yeah, these are the people who take everything very literally. I understood. No surprise. Chakrabarti,
Yeah,
no surprise at all. Yeah, I realized they only would have done all this. They tend to be most radical because their whole life is about taking everything very literally. The Prabhupada wrote, henceforth you 11 people will be gurus. That's it. So everything is literal interpretation. Okay, good
Yeah.
luck. What can be done? Anyway, I wish all of us, everyone a very happy Janmashtami, and let's all
Thanks.
spend our times, you know, chanting, hearing, and growing in our spiritual life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thakur Premanande Hare